You start.
I'm gonna talk to the MC, to the PowerPoint guy, and you go ahead and start. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Right. Everybody.
I'm going. It's 8:03.
You're there. Okay, Mickey's watch. My Mickey says time.
Yes. Good morning, Seijo.
Morning.
I hope everyone enjoyed the aquarium last night. Got a good night's rest. I appreciate everybody being here at 8 o'clock this morning for the business meeting. This is a good crowd. It looks like we've got plenty of room for more people as they come in this morning. So we will get started. We have a number of items this morning to cover, 2 or 3 to vote on, just a lot of announcements that we will run through from up here. So the first thing I want to do this morning is I'm going to appoint Paul Yar as our Parliamentarian. So we appreciate Paul's agreeing to help me today. So
y'all be good.
When I asked Paul to join us up here this morning, he said the one thing I need to announce is he's a strict parliamentarian, so he knows what he's doing. So be careful if you rise to speak today. He may call you out of order. So next up, it's not on the agenda, but we're going to have a quick update from Ryan on how our election process is going to run. We're going to do some testing of clickers, and then we'll move into approving the minutes and into the election.
Good morning.
Morning.
All right, do we have our PowerPoint up?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Not yet? Oh, that's not the PowerPoint. That's the budget. And the budget is beautiful. Okay. All right. All right, so good morning. We will announce when the voting is open and when the voting closes. So please wait until we say voting is open to register your vote on the clicker. If you vote outside of the voting period, your vote will not count. You will want to push the button corresponding to the choice that you want to do. For things like motions, 1 will be yes, 2 will be no, and 3 will be abstain. Those choices will be up on the screen for you as a reminder. Make sure to check the LED screen on your clicker after you have made your vote. Make sure it says whatever your choice is. If it has a battery icon when you click on your vote, please try voting again to make sure that it goes through. It would not be a bad idea to hit your choice a couple times to make sure that your vote is registered. You can change your vote during polling, okay? But once the polling is closed, you will not be able to change your vote at that point. Voting will be done by simple majority, correct?
Constitutional visions are a 2/3 majority.
Constitutional visions are a 2/3 majority. So how about we go ahead and test this out? Yay, let's do this. And I promise this time I have listed all the states, okay? So please, go ahead and vote for your favorite state. I'm a little partial to number 2. It is open. It is open. And we see numbers coming in, don't we, Andy? We do. All right, fantastic. So voting is open. And this is the part where I'll say, last call for votes. And then I will say voting is closed, and that will close voting, okay? Everybody got this? Who won?
And the state winner,
Our host state, Tennessee, won. All right, thank you all.
Thank you, Ryan. Okay, now we need to move into approving our minutes from our 2016 business meeting. So those minutes have been distributed. We sent them out 3 weeks ago to the CHOs, and then we have also put them out. I think they're in guidebook as well for people to look at. Do I hear a motion to approve minutes from our 2016 business meeting? Who said so moved? Got it? Okay. Second? Any discussion? Are we ready to vote? Okay.
Polling is open. Last call for votes. Polling is closed.
Ryan, have our minutes been approved?
They have been approved.
We have approved the minutes. Thank you. Okay, now we will move into our elections for our Director of Committees and President-elect. And I'm going to turn that over to Kathy Hobgood, or Kathy Hobgreat. She changed her name yesterday.
Connie Carson inspired me till Friday. I'm going with it. Good morning, friends. I had the great honor this year as your past president to work with a wonderful group of individuals on the Nominations and Elections Committee to put together the slate of candidates for our open positions. The Nominations and Elections Committee is an open committee to the association, so anyone who has the interest in serving on that committee has the opportunity to do so, and Mr. Adams will be running that committee next year, so if you have interest in doing so, be on the lookout for a call to membership in September for members of that group, and then a call to the membership in October for nominees for the positions. We did receive 25 nominations for our two positions that we'll be voting on today, and so I really wanted to take a moment to thank the members of my slate committee for the hard work that they did. That was DeAndre Howard, E.J. Walicki, Lisa Dico, Jacob Maccabee, and Kayla Hamilton. So let's give them a round of applause. So I also wanted to thank the individuals that I called on the phone and tried very hard to be charming with, to say, really, don't you want to give some of your copious free time to association service? And they came with willing hearts to say yes, and folks that said, I just can't, said for all the right reasons because they wanted to be able to do that in the future. So I think I'm proud that we've put together a slate of folks that will serve in these positions on any day, but they deserve our appreciation for being willing to put themselves forward. So, are we ready? Do you have your clickers? Okay, our first position we'll be voting on this morning is Director of Committees. And our candidates are Andrea Becker, Calvin Mosley, and Tirza Watts. So voting will be open.
Voting is open. Last call for votes. Voting is closed.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you for your votes. We'll now move to our president-elect. Ready? Can I have the president-elect side? Thank you. Our president-elect candidates are Ben Wicker, Chandra Myrick, and Gavin Rourke.
Voting is open.
Voting is open.
Last call for votes. Voting is closed.
Voting is closed. Thank you very much. We'll be back with you at the end of the business meeting with the announcement of our winners. One more. Hi, friends. So, that's correct, Ryan. Our Constitution requires us to have a simple majority, which we have. We do not have. So we will have a runoff between two candidates for you to recalibrate your votes. Correct. It'll take us just a second to set that slide up. Okay, got it. Okay, we're not going to set up a new slide. We're just going to tell you what to do. Are you ready to follow directions? Everybody's with me? Okay. So we thank the award-winning Ben Wicker for his service, but our two candidates for our election will now be number 2, Chandra Myrick, and number 3, Gavin Rourke. So your choices are 2 or 3. Everybody clear on what their choices are? Voting is open. Voting is open. No worries.
Last call for votes.
Last call for votes.
Voting is closed.
Voting is now closed. Thank you very much for going with us. We always want to get it right. And my goal was for the parliamentarian not to have to remind me of process, so. Thank you. Do you want me to go straight into constitutional revisions? Okay. So you get a couple more minutes of entertainment here. It is also my responsibility as your past president to do a review of our guiding documents. So I spent some quality time, let me tell you, this year with our leadership manual as well as with the Constitution. And we do have a few constitutional items to bring to you this morning. And what I'd like to do excuse me, is to go ahead and walk you through those and then give you the opportunity to either vote by acclamation to say, yeah, that sounds good, or to vote individually on particular items. So here's what will happen. I outline each of the individual 5 items, and then we'll say motion to approve by acclamation. And then we'll open for, so you'll vote yes or no, and then we'll go to discussion. If in the discussion it seems like there's a lot of discussion about any particular item, then we will go ahead and move and vote for individual items. Does that make sense? I'm all about my efficiency with your time, friends. So let me tell you what those items are. And if you know that they're in your guidebook as well, if you'd like to see them on your personal screen, there's a section in the guidebook for business meeting materials, and you have both a full copy of the Constitution with the edits called out to the side, and then a document that just has what the changes are. So within the Constitution, we have a category of member that's emeritus member. All of the individuals currently in the emeritus member category are past presidents, but that does not necessarily need to be the case. We had a note when we did our membership structure in 2000, I'm looking like somebody else, like 2001, I think it was, to have a category of emeritus member. And for some reason at that time, and we've lost it in our history, we thought that there was something compelling about having that person having 5 years of service. When the truth is, they might not necessarily need to have 5 years, they might have 20 years, but we felt like what was more important was that there was significant service to allow them to continue as an emeritus member in their retirement than the magic number of 5 years. So we're putting that forward as a constitutional change, that it should instead be that someone is qualified to be an emeritus member if they've left employment after significant service to the institution or the association. The second item that we're putting forward for a constitutional change is within our revenues and expenditures. As you may be aware, we've been doing a lot of work on Seijo's finances, making sure we're making smart decisions that move us forward. And so we have 2 items within that area. One is related to the conference add-on fee. You may or may not be aware that of your conference registration, the amount of $45 is set aside for association business throughout the year. So that's the things that make it Seijo all year, that make the website run, that make the world spin outside of the conference world. And then the remainder of your conference registration pays the bills while we're here at the conference. And when we started that program, it was very important to the association, since that was new and different, that we approve that every year. And for more than 10 years, we have not been approving the add-on fee as a separate vote at the business meeting. So this is an item that just brings us back into current practice as the add-on fee has become a regular item in the budget. We also added in this section in our list of revenues, endowment revenues as a new item that we didn't have before, so that we have that there. Those two items are edits to the main constitution and will require a 2/3 vote. We also have 3 items that are within our bylaws. So if you'll bring up, thank you. Constitutional change number 3 relates to voting. For our Constitution currently requires us to send you the slate of candidates 3 weeks before the annual conference, and we felt as though it was important that we actually send out all voting measures 3 weeks before the annual conference. So this is just an item to keep us honest and to keep us in congruence with you, so that as you prepare to come to the conference, you can have knowledge ahead of time of any item that we're going to ask you to cast a vote on while you're here, so that you never come to the business meeting surprised by something that comes up and requires you to vote. Change number 4 is in relation to our list of committees. The Constitution calls out a list of open committees to the membership. Actually, it calls out the list of committee membership. Not all of those committees are open. They're all open in that members can be part of them either through application or through their service on a different committee. But there are 3 committees: the Reserve Fund Committee, which has a specific membership; the Budget Review Committee, which is a group that provides approval to the budget; and the entry level, our RELI Committee, the leadership of that is by application as opposed to open, hey, I'd like to be part of that, just walk into a committee meeting to run RELI. We think you should do some other things first. So we're just, in the spirit of transparency, we did not want to list the open committees all together like they were all the same. So we pulled those 3 items out and moved them to appointed positions after application. And then lastly, constitutional change number 5 is 2 updates for positions that we already had, but their responsibilities were not listed in the Constitution. We've had RELI co-chairs for as long as we've had RELI, going back to 2004, but their responsibilities were never called out within our Constitution, nor was the process by which they were selected. So again, in the spirit of transparency, we wanted to list the process and the items that relate to the RELI co-chairs. We have also, since Akuhuai redid their foundation responsibilities about 6 years ago, we've had a position on the Akuhuai Regional Foundation Cabinet that requires Seijo to provide someone that will serve in that role and do larger Akuhuai things, but also represent Seijo there, and that was not represented in our guiding documents, so we wanted to add that item. And then we had a new position, thank you, that we wanted to add, which is our Legacy Fund Champion position. I know that sounds like odd language, like what does a champion do? But in our research on our endowment, we felt like it was really important to do some benchmarking against other regions, and something that we heard both from the Akuhuai Central Office and from other regions is that when they have a position that thinks about the endowment on a regular basis, that thinks about it outside of and in concert with the regular budget process, that they had more success in keeping that moving forward as an active, vibrant part of their association financial management. So Seijo is following step with that best practice with Akuhuai. Okay, that is my list. Thank you. So I will now call for a motion to approve by acclamation. So if you feel good about all of those, and you don't necessarily want to talk about it a lot, you vote yes to this. If there are other things you'd like to discuss, you have more questions, you're concerned about something, which is your right and is appropriate, and I welcome any and all questions, you would vote no, and then we'll move into discussion on those as individual items. And 3 would be abstentions. So we will open the floor. Actually, I need a call to approve the motion. Thank you. I need a second. Thank you, Tom. So that was Deb Lobiando and Tom Hardy. Oh, voting's open. The motion passes. Thank you for your attention to our details.
Thank you, Kathy Hobgreat,
Okay, we can be done with that now.
for all of that good work. So, okay, moving into reports, one thing that I wanted to note that we haven't really announced here is last year when we did elections for secretary, we elected Lisa, I forgot the last name, LaBarbara Mascotti from NC State. In May, Lisa moved positions within NC State and so is no longer going to be in Seijo. So at that time, the exec board appointed Andy Petters from the University of Virginia to be the secretary in accordance with our Constitution. So in case you wondered where Lisa was sitting up here and why Andy was here, that is what happened during the past year. So Andy, we appreciate you stepping in and taking over and keeping us up to date on everything. So congratulations. Okay, the first item of business is this report on Seijo 19, 20, and 21. One of the things when I came into office in the spring, someone said, oh, we've got to work on Seijo 19, 20, and 21. That has become a monumental task this year. We had a committee that looked at that of past chairs. Donna worked with that group, David Wilson, Gavin Roark. We worked, and Steve Stauffer from the University of Kentucky. We worked with Ken Arnold for Expedient, and we have had, I would say, probably 20, 25 conference calls or more throughout the year. We looked at 75 hotels in 11 cities to come up with the final 3. We came up with 5 cities. From those cities, we visited on site. We had teams. No, not one of us went to all 5 of them, but we had teams that visited each city to meet with the hotel staff and the convention center. From there, we got back together in a rather lengthy call and made the decision. And we have signed contracts with 1 hotel. The other 2 are at the very final stages of being signed and should be signed within the next couple of weeks. So here is where we're going. First off, remember next year we will be in Biloxi March 6th through the 9th. That was determined in the last cycle, but next year we will be there and we'll get our official invitation from that group tomorrow at the closing. But in 2019, we will be going back to Jacksonville, Florida. We were there in 2005, and I don't think we've been back to Florida since then. We will be going in 2020 to Louisville, Kentucky, to the new Omni that's being built there. And in 2021, we will be in Charleston, South Carolina. So those are the cities that made the final cut. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the group that worked with this. As I said, this was one of those tasks that kind of had a life of its own, but we got it done, and I'm very pleased to do that. Along with that process is the conference coordinator process. On appointing that group. David led a group made up of Lynn Hendricks, Tom Hardy, and Katrina to get that group done, or to get that group selected. We will be announcing those folks tomorrow at the closing session. So those 3 coordinators will be announced tomorrow in the cities that they will be working with. So that will be exciting. I'm glad to get that project finished, and we will move forward with that group to announce that tomorrow. But anyway, those are your cities, and we'll go from there. So now I'm going to ask Kathy to come give us an update on our strategic plan.
Good job, Jerry.
Hi. Who loves strategic planning? Me. Everybody should say yes to that question. I always feel like the process of strategic planning gets a bad rap because it sounds like work, which it is. But the process to me calls out the need to strike out for a preferred future. What are the things that we want to do in our future? What are the things that are important to us as an association? And Seijo does their strategic plan in 5-year planning cycles, which makes sense for us because you can sort of see what's coming next, but also plan moving forward. We are starting year 4 of a 5-year strategic plan that will complete itself and then debut a new strategic plan at the conference in 2019. So I wanted to remind you what our strategic plan items are. We have a strategic plan goal for 5 goals. Goal 1 is making Seijo all year, not just at the conference. What is our member engagement throughout the year? Our second strategic goal is developing a social media presence as a primary resource to gather our mission. Our third strategic plan item is promoting educational opportunities and preparing the leaders of tomorrow. Number 4 is maximizing the effectiveness of our conference host model, and I think the process that Jerry just outlined is absolutely an example of that. And then our 5th item is leveraging Seijo's financial resources and ensuring that we're doing our very best to take care of the dollars that are stewarded to us for the benefit of the association. During the past year, we accomplished 24 individual items that we've outlined within that plan that we're happy to make available through seijo.org, so you can go and look and see what those individual items are. And we have slated 27 individual items for action during 2017. That plan is a living, breathing plan that continues to work, and I'm really proud of the association for the work that we're doing on that. One of the specific items that will be accomplished by the time that we're together next year is that every 5 years, in preparation for a new strategic plan cycle, we do a full member needs assessment. So during the 2017-18 year, you'll see lots of information coming to you about interest in helping create the instrument, because we have agreed to do a full rework of the instrument that we use to ensure that it's part satisfaction, but mostly needs assessment, so that we can get a good feel for what our membership needs from the larger association, and then for individuals to continue to work with a strategic plan. And Donna will be making those calls for action as we move forward. So if that's something that you enjoy doing, if assessment is in your brain and in your heart, like it should be as good practitioners, think about that. What could a member needs assessment look like? And certainly be ready to respond when that call comes out to you, so that you can provide us with your direct feedback that helps shape Seijo's future. Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy. Okay, is Gavin in the room? Okay. Come on up, Gavin.
Good morning, Seijo.
Good morning, Gavin.
I'm excited to share some 2017 numbers with all of you. We have enjoyed having you thus far and look forward to the next couple days. So I'll start off with our delegate information in terms of how many we had registered. And a thanks to Chandra for pulling all of this information for me. So, as of yesterday, we had a total of 658 delegates here at Seijo. Those 658 delegates are broken up in the following categories: our comp or fee waivers or special accommodations that we have, and so that's 15. We had 15 one-day registrants so far. We have 69 early grads. We had 18 late grads, 415 early bird professionals, and 126 late professionals. So that makes our total the 658. We also sold a variety of extra meal tickets throughout the event. Hope you all enjoyed Riverview reception last night at the aquarium. And then our corporate partner numbers, and a big thanks to Daniel Sheets for all his work with that group. So our corporate partner numbers: 78 single booths have been sold, 9 double booths have been sold, equaling a total of 96 total booths sold for Seijo. And I say it almost every time I get in front of the group, but please, please go by and thank those individuals in the exhibit hall And right after this, you'll get to go get some coffee down there with them and a few pastries. So you're at the business meeting. I didn't tell anybody we were having pastries, but all of you know first. So some pastries are down there with coffee. So again, 96 total booths. Of that 96 booths, so that equals 87 total companies. The numbers of individuals from companies is a bit of a moving target as we do different name shifts, but what we currently have is 228 individual CPs, and so that's individuals from all those companies. In terms of sponsorships, in total, including our gift from Good to Great for the book, we raised $47,341 in sponsorships. With those sponsorships, it is 23, 5 at the platinum level, which I showed at the opening, 10 at the gold level, and 8 at the silver level. Thank you so much. Again, we look forward to hosting you. If you need anything, look for someone in a fleece or a long T-shirt that says host team on the back. So we look forward. Thank you so much.
Throughout the fall, and getting into closer to the conference, I would talk to Gavin, and we would talk numbers, and Gavin would be like, well, these are okay. I'd like to get there. Finally, at one point, I said, at what point will you be pleased with your numbers, Gavin? He was always wanting just a little more, but obviously he got a little more with these numbers that he just reported on. So thank you, Gavin, for all of your work. We will recognize you officially tomorrow. So, okay, now let's move into Countess Hughes and a treasurer's report.
Two-Step has come to the podium with its trainer, Countess Hughes. You love it. Good morning.
Good morning.
You're here bright and early. I'm happy to see you. And report on Two-Step's progress this year. It's been a good year. We've had $72,427.34 in winnings from 2016. Thank you to the 2016 conference host team. It has cost $71,118.37 to keep Two-Step fed, groomed, and happy. This is how much its assistant trainers, also known as committee chairs and exec board members, have spent to keep it fed and happy. So now we will project is that the 2016 budget? 2016. 2016, okay. So you will see that the 2016 budget, $92,000 plus were budgeted. And if you look at, and it's a little weird because you're like, how is it $92,000 were budgeted, but $221,000 were expended? So if you look in the column there, it was $150,300, and that is what went to the legacy endowment. And so there's not really a clean way to put that on there. It's under fiscal affairs. And so that is the money that went into the endowment but got included in expenses. But in actuality, that was the $71,118.37 in expenses, okay? If you scroll down, right, the second account is our savings account where we keep our reserve fund. So you can see what is in the reserve fund. That's in case Two-Step gets hurt and needs extra assistance or surgery to keep the legs going.
Veterinary care.
Yeah, veterinary care. It's expensive. Any of you have animals, you know. And we also have, we created 2 years ago or last year, a conference account where we can keep our conference monies separate from our operating fund. And you will see that there were $300,000 plus of income revenue, and then $129,000 plus in expenses. So that was our fiscal year runs from February 1st to July 31st. So this budget is as of, I'm sorry, not July, January. This budget is as of January 31st, 2017. Okay? So are there questions about the 2016-17 budget? If you are like, I'm very excited to learn more, I'll be here after, so you can come and talk to me about what's going on. And then if you'll go to the 17-18 budget for me. All right. This budget requires approval. So if you look, you can see the two-steps assistance trainers have submitted the things that they think that they'll need to keep two-step happy, fed, and groomed. And you can see the request in column C. And so the request, we have made a commitment to have our fiscal year, so this is the 17-18 fiscal year, to have the budget match what the winnings from the previous conference. So this matches up pretty much with the winnings from the 2016 conference. Plus a little bit extra in undesignated funds. So what has been requested or what has been budgeted for 17-18, $75,810.98. And of that, it's $1,326.78 in undesignated funds. Again, should there be a slight two-step emergency. Are there questions about the 17-18 budget? Yes. That is, now I need to adjust the thing. It's an old line item. It is now under conference expenses. So I really just need to take that line item off of the spreadsheet. Good question. Thank you, Tirza. Other questions? It's a little hard to see with the lights, so. Anything else? Somebody asked a question in the governing board earlier, why is there nothing under Realize scholarships? That's just rolled into Realize support now. So that is why that line item is also says 0. Other questions?
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the budget?
That is the request from the Rely co-chairs. And also, the previous year, Rely support was 2 years. There was a delay in paying for Rely 2015, so payments last year for 2015 and 2016. Good question. Thank you.
That would be trainer, not treasurer. Okay. Any other questions? Do you have a motion to approve the budget? Renee? Okay. Andy Renee at LSU. Motion to approve. Second? Tim Blair, NC State. Any discussion on the budget? Okay, we're ready for a vote.
Polling is open. Last call for votes. Polling is closed. The motion passes.
Excellent. I have a couple more announcements. I wanted to get that over with. Thank you very much. Two-Step is very happy. He gives you a big old nay. Yeah. All right. You're not ready. Two-Step will be in search of a new trainer in February of 2019, giving you lots of time to think about your future in Seijo. If you think this could be you, you should talk to the current trainer ASAP. You can't just jump into the task of grooming and feeding and training. You must have some time to prepare. The current trainer was just thrown into that and did survive, and two-step has done well, but you must learn from the current trainer. It's like a Jedi mind trick. You want to be the new trainer. You think that you want to be the new trainer. You really want to be the new trainer. So think about that. I'll be here after this meeting to talk to folks who are interested in that, and we'll get you right into some of the tasks. Not all of them at one time, just a little grooming here, a little feeding there. You'll be good. However, due to world hazards and global warming and other unknown futures, the need for company, Two-Step has a new horse in the stable, and her name is Legacy. And her trainer is Kathy Hobgreat, who will be reporting on Legacy's winnings after my report. So there's a new horse in the stable, and her name is Legacy. And she needs lots of feed, so you'll have an opportunity to contribute to her winnings later. And this is my last reminder, not my last reminder, but a reminder to visit the corporate partners and learn what they do. They are really good people, they know a lot, and they are in our residence halls in lots of different ways. They also produce about half of the revenue for the conference, so you need to go thank them. Thank you very much. Trainer out.
It's hard to follow, Countess. Thank you for an entertaining budget update.
It's hard to make the budget entertaining.
Oh, you do good work. So remember about 15, 20 minutes ago when I mentioned that we were going to have a new position within Seijo that was the Legacy Fund Champion? Our executive board has done me the great honor of asking me if I would be the inaugural person to serve in that role. I think because I was so lippy about the endowment business to start with. I'm not sure it was an honor. But so it's my opportunity now to talk to you a little bit about where we are with our endowment fund. It was just at this meeting last year that we voted as an association to use some of our revenues that were sitting in relatively unprofitable accounts to move that forward to a full endowment through the Akuhoai Foundation. So I can tell you that in May of 2016, we had completed the agreements with Akuhoai and done all of the agreement. There's a whole legacy endowment document that details how money can and can't be used and what that decision-making looks like. So that was deposited in May and opened for donations just before the Akuhoai annual conference this summer. So I can report that since then, we have earned more than $5,000 in interest on that account that's added to the corpus moving forward. And we have also, before we arrived here in Chattanooga, had received over $3,100 in individual donations from Seijo members that wanted to give directly to the Legacy Fund as a member because they believe in the work of the foundation and they believe in using that money to send individuals on continued professional development activities through that partnership. So I wanted to offer a personal thank you to all those individual donors. If you are thinking, gosh, I'd love to participate in that, I wanted to use just a moment of my time to make a plug for Sister Deco, who will be at the foundation booth today until 4 o'clock, running the silent auction. The silent auction will close today at 4 o'clock, and those revenues will then go into the endowment fund. And then the booth will also be open tomorrow until 11. We do have a few more of those limited edition Seijo Legacy Fund shirts donated by Bedloft. So that we could offer those at a very low cost to our membership and an opportunity to donate. We also have some snazzy silver lapel pins, and we would love to see them on everyone. So thank you for your belief in this endeavor, and I look forward to continuing in that role.
Thank you, Kathy and Countess. Thank you for your entertaining treasurer's report. So, okay, I'm going to turn it now over to Ben Wicker for an update on the Seijo report.
Morning, Seijo. Morning. All right. So in honor of Jeannie, I'm up here to give you all an update on the work that has been done for and on the Seijo report since this time last year. In the four issues that we have put out since last conference, we've had 24 feature articles submitted. We've had 23 committee updates, and, I misspoke. And 43 institutional updates and state updates. So that is a great contribution, and we absolutely cannot put the Seijo report on without you all. Just to let you know, the next deadline for the spring issue is less than a month away. So on March 28th, Tuesday, March 28th, if everyone please write that down. Make sure that you send in your updates. Make sure you send in your articles. I know that a lot of people are like, yeah, I'm going to send, yeah, I'll send that. So follow through, all right? Seijo report absolutely does not move forward without the association membership. So I also wanted to take a minute to re-recognize some of the folks from last night. We do recognize a best of each issue of the Seijo report. So again, our best of Seijo report article of the year was from the winter issue of last year by Maggie Gillespie, and that was Amber version, the lost personality type. Also in the spring issue, we had an article submitted by Bree Gates and Michael Cherry of the University of Mississippi called Diversity, Social Change in the SEC, reflecting on our role. And in the summer, we had an article submitted by Ashley Gaddy and Daniel Gonzalez, Ashley Gaddy of VCU and Daniel Gonzalez of Western Kentucky, called Making Sure We All Eat, Combating Food Insecurity on College Campuses. And then in the fall, we had an article submitted by Catherine David of Louisiana State called Turning Tables When Disaster Strikes and Housing Staff Become Residents. And I have a certificate for each of those recipients if they'll find me, or someone from their institution will find me after the meeting. But we appreciate everyone who submitted to the Seijo report and hope that you will continue to do so. We look forward to Jeannie stepping back into the role of editor. And also wanted to make the announcement that we brought on a new section editorial board that includes Janine Weaver-Douglas from Duke University, Colin Byard from UCF, and Doug Ashcroft from the University of Florida, who helped manage the different sections of the Seijo report. So thank you to them for their service.
Thank you, Ben. Okay, a relay update from Calvin and Lauren.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. There we go. I knew you were awake. All right. So it is Lauren and I's pleasure to give an update on RELI 2017. So last, we're going to, at the end of the report, we're going to recognize the 2017 faculty, which I am very, very, very excited to work with. It's kind of like a who's who of housing to a degree. So very, very excited to work with them. First and foremost, this is the first of 3 years that the University of South Carolina will be hosting RELI. So give it up to the University of South Carolina. Lauren and I did a site visit there in September of last year, and it was a wonderful visit. So we're very, very, very excited with working with those professionals from South Carolina. So applications for participants is open. Currently, they will close on March the 17th, and we will notify those candidates of their status no later than April the 3rd. The RELI session also, want to remind everybody that that is happening at 10 o'clock on tomorrow morning. So anybody who's interested in being a participant, please attend that session to learn a little bit more about it. Past faculty, as well as this year's faculty, please attend as well to kind of give your input on that as well. We want to make sure that we get plenty of applicants for participants for RELI. All right, so next we're going to unveil, if you will, the faculty for RELI 2017. All right, so I'm going to ask these lovely, lovely, lovely individuals to stand, and if you could, hold your applause until everybody has been announced. That would be really good. All right. First up, all the way from Jacksonville State University, my friend and yours, Brooke Lyon. Come on. You're fine. All right. From the wonderful state of Florida, all the way from Florida Gulf Coast University, Brian Fisher. Brian, are you here? Please stand. Brooke, you got to stay standing, sweetheart. Come on. All right. I promise I'll be done. Also from Florida International University, Mr. Joe Pollock. From the wonderful state of North Carolina and Wake Forest University, Stephanie Carter. Yes. Come on, Dad. Really? Dad? There you go. All right. From Transylvania University, Hannah Piowski. Did I get it right this time, Hannah? Excellent. All right, good deal. From Eastern Kentucky University, Mr. Anthony White. And last, but definitely not least, from VCU, Mr. Gavin Roark. Please give them a big round of applause. Sorry. All right. And from Appalachian State University, give her her own round of applause as she stands up as well. Shannon Jordan, please. Sorry about that, Shannon. I cannot be held accountable for what happens before 9 o'clock in the morning. Okay, there you go.
One other announcement related to RELI. At the state meetings later this afternoon, we will have postcards with information. Even if you are not attending RELI or interested in attending RELI, if you will take some back to your institutions and hand those out to folks at your institutions who may be interested in applying, it has all the information on it. So those will be at the state meetings this afternoon.
That's it. Thank you.
Calvin and Lauren, thank you for your service to RELI. That's a big undertaking to co-chair that event. But a huge event. You hear so many of our young professionals in the region here talking about RELI reunions and getting together with their RELI groups. So it has become a real tradition in Seijo in the 10 plus years that we've had RELI. So thank you. Sakura update. Cole Gabriel. Where is Cole? There. He's coming. We're excited to have Cole here.
Good morning, Seijo. Good morning. And I would absolutely like to echo the co-chairs for RELI. I am certain that faculty is one to rely on. All right, first thing is first here. How many of you have ever heard of Seijo before this conference? Okay. All right. For those of you who have not, it works perfectly. I don't run into that very often. Seijo is our regional affiliate, kind of, I suppose you could say, the counterpart for students of Seijo, although I believe you all have one more state. And essentially, we have a similar mission to Seijo in that we are all here to develop students. And we facilitate the development of leaders and the sharing of ideas to best build community on college campuses. Our biggest focus here as a regional affiliate and as a international association is to give students more opportunities for growth. And so just as Seijo, you all host programs to learn better the ins and outs of different housing programs, best practices. We do similar things for students at our regional level conferences as well, to allow them to gain some best practices and some understandings of different kinds of programs and initiatives that they can pursue as students. We are student-led completely, so we've got our own student-led corporation with some help from some advisors, and we are led by our regional board of directors. And so I do have the opportunity this year to serve as the director. We actually have two more regional board members sitting over there in the audience. Our coordinating officer for RHA development, Taylor Hanley, over there, and our coordinating officer for bidding and NRHH, Josh Ingebrigtsen. Woo! And we like to have a little bit of extra fun. So as you can see, we have a mascot. His name is Louie, and no, we are not lying. All right. Now we'll go ahead and move into our numbers component. Any of you who are numbers oriented in the room, or is that just our treasurer? Okay, all right. Well, she is going to thoroughly enjoy this. So by the numbers here, we currently have 67 institutions affiliated with the South Atlantic region, and that's a slight decrease from previous years, so advisors, housing officers, step it up. And we do have an incredible increase of chapters of the National Residence Hall Honorary, which is kind of the top 1% of housing student leaders who are recognized in this program. Our financial status, I would have some numbers for you, but I'd just like to let you know that our financials are fantastic. So each year we have the opportunity to host 2 regional conferences. Our Regional Leadership Conference, which we had a delegate attendance of 554, which is super exciting for us. And then upcoming is our Regional Business Conference at Clemson University. Our attendance is TBD because it has not happened yet. And I just have to say, just some reflection about seeing the way you all conduct business. We have a whole conference dedicated to business meeting, and you all really have some strong forward agreements. I don't think I could say hello to our group of student voting representatives without them calling me out on something. But even more important here than our numbers, we have our people, our students and our institutions. And so this year, just some updates from us of what we've done as a region. We have given some more opportunities and provided some more resources for our students to grow and develop, and more resources for institutions to develop their own programs. And so we as an association in total, so the International Association has kind of disaffiliated from state associations, and so they now operate independently to us, and so we did kind of adjust some business. There are some financial and liability reasons there. If you're interested, you can talk to me afterward. We have instituted some virtual meetings to where we have the opportunity as a board to update our members on different aspects of conferences and work with some adjustments with our governing documents and those kinds of things. And some of our biggest projects that we're working on right now are our in-a-box programs. And this is a metaphorical box. But essentially, these are groups of resources that each institution can use to create their own residence hall associations and their own NRHH chapters and establish them on their campus. I noticed that some of you out there are voting representatives by your clickers, I presume, and some of our biggest items there are related to training our NCCs, which are our NACURC communications coordinators, so voting representatives that are students from each institution. And I would like to say that I love strategic plans, personally. I actually chair the SACUR Strategic Planning Committee, and we are working on some exciting revisions there as well. And of course, some policy updates. So, things that are related to institutions here that were passed by our National Association. I have a couple of quick updates for you. Including the incorporation of an ethics statement. That is super exciting, although I would like to consider everyone in our association to be ethical. It is nice to have something to kind of live by with an ethics statement. In addition, we have updated our governing documents just as Seijo and Akuhuai have some corporate partners, we do as well. And so we work with them and have kind of enhanced our ability to work with them through our new policies and governing documents. As I said, SACUR's financials are fantastic, but just to make sure that continues well into the future, we have created some better financial accountability measures to ensure that all of our students and advisors are kind of best protected here, as well as we're working in the most fiscally responsible way for our affiliate. In addition, we're working on an affiliation database, and that's just another resource for universities and institutions to know and understand the best practices of different institutions. Interactive portion here now. How many of you have ever heard of art training? All right, fantastic. How many of you have heard of art training before this conference? All right, even better. So we have been, on the international level, we have been instituting different kinds of art training to allow advisors, such as many of you are, to learn some better resources to take on some training in best working with students and residence hall associations and NRHH chapters. In addition, at each regional conference, there are different sessions held, some of which including Art Train the Trainer sessions. So if you all are looking to add one more item to your plate, a small item, we are training art trainers. So that's extremely exciting. And then finally, we have one of our biggest new items here is our corporate partnership with It's On Us, which is a campaign to prevent sexual assault on college campuses. And I know what you're thinking. Cole, what does this all mean for me? How many of you currently have RHA or NRHH chapters on your campus? All right, how many of you do not? Okay. So, kind of here in our What Can I Do Next session, it is an incredible service to your students to be able to host a residence hall association and an NRHH chapter on your campus, to include abilities for students to enhance their leadership ability as well as to put on programs to build community on campuses. So if you don't have one, let's get it started and get rolling. In addition, we provide a variety of different resources as well as conference benefits to schools who affiliate. So sending students off to those regional conferences each year, to our NCUR annual conference, you are just giving more opportunities for your students to learn and grow and develop, just like you all are having the opportunity to learn and grow as professionals here at this conference. And then finally, spread the word. Tell everyone, tell your institution about NCUR, about SECUR. It is an incredible program, it is an incredible affiliate, and an incredible opportunity for students to develop. Now, if you're looking for some high-class communication options here, we do have social media, and for those of you who don't like social media, we do have a website as well. So very exciting stuff there. And please do reach out to us if you have any questions. And that is it for me. Does anyone have any questions? All right, thank you very much, everyone. SECUR out.
Cole, thank you. Thank you for what you and SECUR do to students in our region. Appreciate Cole's enthusiastic report this morning. So, okay, I think our agenda says a few items, excuse me, a few items from the president. A lot of what I'm going to briefly go over is things that you've already heard about, things that we've been working on in his exec board and governing council this year. First off, I just appreciate so much the opportunity to serve as president. This has been a very humbling experience just to see the amount of work that goes into this association. As I said yesterday, I have a new appreciation for our past presidents and what they have done for Seijo. And so many people stood yesterday in the opening session whenever they said they'd served on a task force committee, host committee, programming committee. There are so many people that put so much into Seijo throughout the year and put their heart into Seijo throughout the year. And I really appreciate that and everything that people have done to support us throughout the past year. This past year, Countess has continued to work on the budget. As she said, it is a continual project. She's really worked to bring everything county together under one umbrella, so that we don't have some different pockets out there operating under our account. And so she's worked hard with folks to bring everything together and done a great job there. Early in the spring, after our meeting last year, Kathy and Countess got together with the Kuhuai to finalize everything for the Legacy Fund and get that money transferred. So our endowment is now making money for us, and we'll be able to work to support scholarships and other Kuhuai endeavors in the future. We also launched a new website this year. Ryan and Zach and their team had worked for a couple of years in getting us to that point, and so we were able to launch that in the fall and continue to have work to do on that project. But the new website is live and looks great and supports a new look out there for Seijo. The Seijo report continues to be a very strong publication, a regional publication, and as I've said before, we appreciate Ben stepping up to help Jeannie out in that committee when Jeannie had her medical issues this year. And can give a report. I talked to Jeannie a couple days ago. She really wanted to be at Seijo. She knew she shouldn't be here, but she really, to the last minute, thought maybe I'll try to make the trip. But she got great news from the Cancer Center in Houston last week that she is cancer-free, and that is huge. But we will hopefully see Jeannie here next year, but I am sure her children are happy to have Mom back on a full-time basis in Oxford. And I hear from her staff, she's hit the ground running and is working hard with them there. So it's good to hear. It was good to hear from her. We talked a little bit about this planning document that kind of came about when we were together during the summer meeting. We got to talking about all the processes that we have in place, and everybody kind of knew this needed to be done here, this group needed to work on this project next year, but everything wasn't down in one document. So we came up with really the 10-year plan for Seijo. That will be online as part of the leadership manual. I encourage you to go on and look at that when we get everything updated tomorrow. Kathy will have all of that up and finished, and Zach and Ryan, their teams will have that out there. But we tried to pull every process we think that Seijo appointed positions, all of those into one document. This kind of came about when we were talking last year, summer of 16 and 15, I guess, we were in Raleigh. Steve Stauffer leaned over to me and said, "Oh, Jerry, we need to get RELI selected and solidified for the next 3 years." I said, "Okay, who does that?" He goes, "Oh, the president-elect, that's his responsibility." I said, "Oh, okay, what does that mean?" So then we proceeded to go through that process and select South Carolina last spring. About this time last year, I think it was Steve again who said, "Oh, Jerry, it's the next 3-year cycle for Seijo 19, 20, and 21. We've got to get that process selected by next year." And again, oh, what does that mean? And who does that? Well, that's part of the president's role. You need to get that done this year. So Maggie did not tell me when she called me 3 years ago and asked to run if this was part of the package. But we got it done. Those processes are done. They're finalized. But we've put that stuff in writing on what year that needs to be done from now on. So those two processes are there. But there's just so much we do as an association that had been carried on by great memory of people and somebody whispering or passing a note. But I think we've got it all in a working document. So we're pleased with that. Kathy's work on the leadership manual, that manual is a living document. It continues to change every month, it seems like. And so the work that she did there, we've got a great, again, a great update. Tim spent, I know, a tremendous amount of time last year, and you think, we've got it to this point, and then all of a sudden we go through it a year later and have tons more revisions, and I'm sure that will be what I will find out next year. We finalized, as I've said earlier, the conference hosting piece, and so we're glad to get that off the table, and we'll announce the coordinators tomorrow. There are a number of other things that we've worked on this year, but those are kind of some of the highlights. Again, I would like to thank the Governing Council, the Exec Board who met this summer. Again, in the fall, we met once a month by conference call for an hour. Just the amount of work they do behind the scenes and the support they've given to me has been tremendous. So that's a little bit of what your association's been doing for the past year. And again, I just thank you for the opportunity to be your president. I'm going to now turn it over to Donna for more resolutions.
Thanks, everyone. As I mentioned yesterday, we have 2 resolutions to give out this morning, and I wanted to thank Shannon Jordan from App State for sponsoring our next resolution. The next one is I will read. And unfortunately, this recipient is not here at the conference this year, but we are going to recognize her, and you can share what's happened today. Whereas Carolyn Vicky Hawkins served as a housing and residence life professional with distinction for 36 years and 10 months, whereas Vicky Hawkins supported the goals for the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers through her attendance at 32 Seijo annual conferences, presenting over 20 educational programs, membership on the placement committee, Rely Host Selection Committee, research committees, and also held the positions of member at large, Georgia State Representative, Georgia State Newspaper Representative, Seijo Conference Host, Rely Faculty, Rely Co-Chair. Whereas Vicki Hawkins also promoted the housing and residence life profession through leadership and involvement at the state and national level. Whereas Vicki Hawkins' tenure as a housing and residence life professional was characterized by her firm commitment to students and staff, tireless work ethic, clear vision, tenacious drive, and unwavering love for the housing profession. And whereas Vicki Hawkins served the housing profession at Georgia Southern University and Appalachian State University as senior housing officers, impacting both programs with her valuable leadership contributions that earned her the prestigious Akuho'ai Parthenon Award. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Governing Council of the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers, on behalf of its membership, wishes to express its sincerest appreciation and highest esteem to Carolyn Vicky Hawkins for exemplary contributions to our association and our field, commissioned on this day in March 2017 by Jerry Adams. So Shannon, if you will come and accept this award on Vicky's behalf. Thank you. I'll ask Katrina, who is actually already making her way up here, to come up next.
Thank you. Having worked for this person for 20 years, it gives me a great honor to be able to read this morning's resolution for Deb Boykin. So, if I can get through it. Whereas Deb Boykin served as a housing and residence life professional with distinction for 38 years, whereas Deb Boykin supported the goals of the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers through presenting at numerous conferences, serving as a mentor to countless young professionals, serving as Seijo Sage, president, conference host, serving as Rely faculty, along with chairing and serving on a number of other Seijo committees, task forces. And whereas Deb Boykin also promoted the housing and residence life profession through leadership and involvement at the state and national level, including president of Akuho'ai South Africa Housing Training Faculty, Akuho'ai Southeastern District Representative, and as an external review consultant on various campuses. Whereas Deb Boykin's tenure as a housing and res life professional was characterized by her strength of character, ethical compass, patient demeanor, relentless support, and unwavering leadership. And whereas Deb Boykin has been honored with a commendation from the Commonwealth of Virginia, has had the Vacuho Outstanding New Professional Award named in her honor, has received the Student Services Pioneer Award, has received the Akuho'ai Parthenon Award, and has received the Seijo Founders Award, along with a number of other awards and honors, and is an example of what a true leader, mentor, and individual should be. And now, therefore, let it be resolved that the Governing Council of the Southeastern Association of Housing Officers, on behalf of its membership, wishes to express its sincerest appreciation and highest esteem to Deb Boykin for her exemplary contributions to our association and our field, commissioned this first day of March 2017 by Jerry Adams, Seijo President.
Okay, Seijo Service Awards are offered to institutions as an opportunity to recognize a staff member who has made significant contributions to the residence hall students and the housing organization. We have a lot of service awards to be distributed, so if the state representatives will come forward at the end of the business meeting and meet me right here at the stage, I'll give you your service award certificates for recognition at your state caucus meetings this afternoon. So if it happens that no one from the institution is present, the state representatives will be responsible for mailing those certificates to the nominators. All right, so meet me at the end. Thanks.
Thank you, Donna. Now for our election results, back to Kathy.
Are you ready? I'd like to have another round of applause for all of our folks who are on the slate. Please join me in congratulating our new Director of Committees, Calvin Mosley. And our new President-elect, who will serve as Seijo President in 2019, Ms. Chandra Myrick. That's Seijo love right there.
Thank you. Are there any more announcements?
Let's go,
Only Joe Mills. Will you rule him out of order, Paul? Joe, you have been officially ruled out of order. So, if that is it, do I hear a motion to close the business meeting? So move. Second. Hearing no objections, we are finished at 9:20. 10 minutes to spare. Oh, 9:19, excuse me.
Any future trainers in a tight business meeting?
I mean, it was still, I thought that was very fast, but it was still an hour and 20 minutes on it. And we really had no discussion. Yeah, so take note.
Please make sure to turn in your clickers to your state reps outside. Your institution will be charged if you don't turn in the clicker. Wake Forest University appreciates this.